Hello, everyone. This is Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, and welcome to our virtual town hall. This is our second work on this broadcast. We want to thank our producer, Ben. And today we're going to have a very informative panel, starting with the Department of Labor and Training with Matt Weldon, and then SBA will be involved. DBR will be involved. I've got a series of questions for all three. We encourage you to ask your questions of us so that we can either answer them on this call, on this broadcast, or if we don't get to them, we'll definitely follow up as we have after every one of these communications. So thank you so much for being here. I always have got to say that our health is our most important issue, and that to make sure that we're following the guidelines of Dr. Scott and the health office and our emergency management with Director Pappas and others, along with the governor and her staff. We want to be safe, and unless we follow those instructions, it's going to be very difficult to reopen the economy, which we think is a very important issue. As you know, anybody who's followed this call, they know that our office is working overtime on behalf of our small business community. And I would say that we're going to reopen, and the governor is going to outline what that looks like. But we're also going to reopen, and the virus is still going to be in our communities. So we need to find the way to be as flexible as we possibly can to support our small businesses and still stay safe. And that's our goal, is to create this flexibility that whether it's in our greenhouses or whether it's on our golf courses or yoga studios or hair salons or restaurants. And we're going to talk about that today. So thank you all for being here. I wanted to bring on Matt Weldon, if we could, Ben, because from the DLT, that he might be able to give us an update. And I do have a couple questions of him as well. So if we could bring Matt on, that would be great. Hey, Matt, good afternoon.
Hey, Governor, how are you?
Very good. Good to see you. Maybe you could just give a little overview, and then I do have a couple questions that have come through me, and I'm sure that others will be asking questions of you because of the extraordinary work you're doing, but also the incredible amount of work that you're doing, right, in terms of the workload. So please give us an overview. And once again, Matt, I just want to tell the people who are listening either on the call, we're doing a simulcast right now with the call, and blending into this format, reaching several thousand people last Friday, and we expect to do the same today. So your message is very important, but I want people to know that the not only Matt, but the entire DLT staff is doing extraordinary work with claims that are benefit claims that are reaching, approaching well over 150,000 right now, right, Matt?
Yeah, Governor, it's incredible. They continue to come in. They're not coming in at the pace that they were a couple of weeks ago, but we have plateaued over 200,000 claims. So 206,000 as of today.
Unbelievable.
That's an incredible number. On top of that, another 20,000 TDI claims, and that's keeping our staff incredibly busy. Yeah. Almost everyone at DLT is working remotely. So almost everyone has been set up to work from home. The management team and senior leadership has been coming to work every day. I want to apologize. I'm dressed down as I'm here in my office. We're here 7 days a week doing everything we can, and trying to be comfortable if we can be.
Well, I'm only dressed up a little bit today because I had to do a reading for Children's Friend, and I had to do a 3-page reading, and I want to look official with my flag so that when the kids see the reading, and multiple people have done a couple pages, I get to do 3 pages. We were going out hunting for a big bear, and it was going to be an interesting day. Anyway, go ahead.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're busy. We're doing everything we can. I've been hearing from a number of people that get my information because of these opportunities, like being on this chat today or the calls that we've done with your office. So that's good. I'm doing what I can to connect those people with benefits as quickly as possible, or if they're employers, I'm working to try to get them the services they deserve, which means that we're trying to put people back to work, make sure that they know that unemployment is there to help them when they don't have other sources of income. And when they do have those sources, that we quickly get people off of the unemployment rolls and get them back into their jobs. A couple of things I wanted to go over today, if just for a minute. One is this process has been evolving. As these claims have come in, we've had to make some changes every day to try to deal with them as quickly as we can. One thing that we've done very recently is put a new portal up on our website. So if you go to dlt.ri.gov, just under the boxes where the applications for the UI programs are, there is a link to a customer access form. And I don't have it open in front of me, so I can't tell you exactly what it says, but it's a red rectangle. And I think it says having issues with unemployment or can't get through. And what it is a form that will allow you to go through a few questions, indicate who you are so we can contact you, and tell us what your problem is. Then what we're doing is receiving those every day. In the first day, we had 1,800 of them come in, and we're able to triage them by issue and assign them to staff that are only performing those functions. And so that way we're able to quickly get people connected instead of receiving calls or emails and then having to figure out what the issue is and then having to call people and talk to them multiple times. We think this will be a quicker way to access DLT and to get people connected with their benefits. I would urge people to go to that website, dlt.ri.gov, try to find that form and submit their questions or issues that way. The other big thing that we're talking about every day right now is the issue of unemployment insurance fraud. I'm sure that people have seen Director Scott Jensen on different news outlets and in the paper talking about some fraudulent claims that have been filed. What I would say is that there's always some level of activity of fraud that happens in every public benefit program. It's unfortunate. We do everything we can to stop it. And when we do figure out what's going on, we shut those funds off and we go after those individuals. Right now, we have 206,000 claims. And so, of course, that number is going to go up a bit. The issue that we're seeing mostly is what we're calling impostor fraud. And that is when someone has had their identity previously compromised, and maybe they don't even know that, but it was a case where there were fraudulent charges on their credit card, or someone somehow got into their bank account. Somebody down the road was able to obtain that information and file claims in these folks' names fraudulently. And so I'll tell you that both claims were filed in my name and my wife's name. And when I had a colleague go in to check it, because we wouldn't check one that's related to us, they said the address is a particular address that I haven't lived at for 20 years. And the phone number from my wife's claim was a number I had when I first started working for the state 20 years ago. And so they're able to piece these little things together and file claims. So we're working very closely with the state police, with the Attorney General and the FBI to try and figure out what is the root cause of this and how do we get to these folks. More importantly than that, we are working with the individuals. We're contacting them to say, we know this happened. We're going to help you. We're going to do it as quickly as possible. You should know that we're putting a stop on the claim so money doesn't go out the door. And there are free resources available for you so you can have your credit frozen and no one can open any kind of account in your name. We're doing this every single day. We have a former state prosecutor that's on our legal team. He's leading this effort for the state right now. And we're working very closely with the state police and the AG to make sure we do the right thing.
Yeah, and I know the Attorney General's office has a great fraud division. Your name was stolen. Our name was stolen at one time for like a fraud theft, and we, I worked with the Attorney General on my personal issue, and they were able to make a lot of progress that I was not to make individually. So I would encourage people to follow up with you, Matt, with your office, with the Attorney General. That's the only way that we're going to get on top of this is by, acting very quickly. And no one should be bashful right now if somebody has, stole their identity, and that's what happened. So that's
right.
What's happening, right?
Please let us know. The FBI had put out a link last night. I would suggest that Rhode Islanders can email dlt.investigations@dlt.ri.gov. That way we get your information and we can reach out right away.
Great, Matt. That's
Thank
great.
you.
One of the questions that I had, and you might have other things, is that individual sole proprietors who have received a letter that they have been approved, but still have not received any dollars. And also, a second part of that question is, and when I won't use any names, but we're getting that where they may even protest or want to revisit the amount that they received, because if they received a very low amount, but their income has been relatively steady and higher, if they've received a low amount, then how do they proceed on that? But first, they haven't received anything, and they've been informed, they've been approved, And then the figure is significantly lower than that what they anticipated. And the third part of that question, if they do receive it, are they entitled to the $600, bonus that is coming from the feds? Those
Okay,
are
sure. Really quickly go through that for you. If they've been approved and they haven't received money, they need to know that you first get approved for unemployment, then you have to request it each week. And you do that through a system called UI Online, which is on our website. If you click the UI tab, you'll see it. Basically, it asks you every week for your social security number, something called a BYE code, which for all these new claims is 21. Your PIN. A PIN is your personal information. It shouldn't be shared with anyone. It's like a PIN for an ATM machine. You put your PIN in, you certify that you haven't had any earnings in that week, and you attest that you are who you say you are, and hit submit. And that will send a payment to your account. Usually takes about 48 hours after you do that. Sometimes when you do it on a weekend, it might take 72 hours.
Okay.
If they haven't received any money and they've done that, they should use that web portal I mentioned earlier on dlt.ri.gov. That link is right in the middle of the page if you're having access issues with unemployment. One of the things that you can answer is, I haven't received any funds yet. And that'll assign it to one of my people that can get to it quickly. The other issue is for people that have received funds, but their benefit rate seems too low or too high. We had to build that system quickly. We did it based on adjusted gross income and the most recent tax year, and it's matching it against tax data. If that's inaccurate, which it is for some people, there's another one of those options on that website to say, I'd like to have my rate revisited.
Yeah.
Everybody should continue to request payments until they do that. It's not going to be an issue. If you think you're getting a slight overpayment, it's not a problem. If you're being underpaid, we can change your payment going forward and then provide supplemental payments to get you caught up. So if you should have been getting $300 a week and you were getting 183, then we'll pay you the difference for each week that you've already collected. That's what we're here for. I would say go on that online forum and fill that out, and we'll get to that as quickly as possible. And then every single unemployment payment that goes out, whether it's $1 or $500, will go with the $600 from April 1st until July 31st.
That's great information, Matt. And hearing that, people who are in that category that you talked about need to go in every week and actually make their claim basically on a weekly basis. Very important information. And hopefully people who are listening right now that might be fall into that category, they can reach out to our office at 222-2371 and we can direct them towards Matt, or you can go directly to Matt's information. And we want to make sure that the people are getting what the benefits that they're entitled to. And thank you very much for that information, Matt. Do you have anything more to add, or just can you stick around? Because I know there's going to be some questions. We got a half a dozen businesses that'll be on this call before we're done, and we'll come back to it in the last 5 minutes or so to kind of review what you might have heard and things that you might want to share with us.
Sure thing, Governor.
Matt, thank you very much. Okay, Ben, thank you for being our producer here. And I don't know whether Mark is available yet. Mark Haywood.
Mark is not available yet, so we're going to bring Liz on.
Liz. Oh, my God. I haven't seen Liz in a while. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Governor. How are you today?
Oh, my God. We're getting all this high-tech stuff going on. It's good to see you. So this is your 25% on DBR right now, or are we making a transition back?
Oh, I'm 100% back at DBR, just helping out with some issues over at EMA.
Great. Well, it's good to have you back. But you had a good person filling in for you. Julietta did a nice job. Very good job.
Lieutenant Governor, we also have Liz's communications person, Matt, who is going to be joining in case there are questions she can't answer.
Oh, my God.
Commerce, not communications. Sorry about that.
Yes, perfect. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Governor, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, this is great. And the format we've been using, really working with the small businesses. And I just want to give a shout out to Commerce that is working very hard to kind of help, on these, in particular on the small business issues that we've been really focused on over the last several weeks. So thank you for joining us, Matt.
I just want to say thank you for always getting the word out for us and promoting our hotline and working together in partnership to reach the community and getting the information out. We really appreciate working together with you on that.
Yeah, well, our office has been trying to, post everything that's recent. We've considered ourselves this information center over the last several weeks, and we want to have good information. We don't get it unless we're able to interact with department heads and people like yourself and Liz. So Yeah, we're communicating to a lot of people, as everybody is, but as you just heard with questions with Matt, there's still some confusion that's going on, and we need to make sure that we're addressing it to our best of our ability. So, thanks, Liz. Do you have any update before I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, thank you. So
Yeah.
one of the things we want to make sure that businesses are thinking about, and I know that you have a wide variety of businesses on here, so I won't get too specific, but I think the biggest question that we're getting right now is, what do I need to do to get my business ready? How can I prepare? Or I'm operating, but I've been operating under stricter guidelines. How do things loosen up? And so, what does the state care about? What should we be looking for? And I'll tell you, we've got this whole list of things, but I'll summarize it. And the first one being the screening. So first and foremost, if your employees are sick, you have to keep them home. If you are the business owner and you are sick, you need to stay home. So that's probably the biggest way to prevent this virus from moving, is to keep your sick employees home. Make sure they understand what their options are for sick time, and make sure that you're communicating with them so that they know that. You're also going to want to think about who's coming into your business. Is there a way for you to screen them that makes sense for you? Should you do temperature screenings? Can you ask them questions? So while I'm not going to answer specific for your business, something for you to think about, and we'll have some guidance coming out about that. Also communicating with your employees so that they know what their rights and responsibilities are as employees. And don't forget your middle managers, your supervisors, because we found a lot of supervisors were often relaying to their employees that they had to come to work when they were sick, and we don't want sick employees coming to work. So I can't encourage that enough. We also want you to focus on cleaning. And again, that's different in every business, but cleaning often if you have frequent high traffic is really important to do. But don't forget things about your bathrooms that your employees are using. And once you can start using break rooms and things like that, you're going to want to make sure those areas are cleaned. But cleaning is particularly important. You also want to make sure you're looking at your face mask usage. And again, every business is different, but are you wearing your masks in the store for your business, whatever it might be? Is it important that your customers have the masks on? Those are all things that you want to analyze and think about. And social distancing, and talk about a wide range of answers that this is going to be. For your business, can you put tape on the floor to measure things out? Can you separate out your customer from your employees? What makes sense? So those are probably the key areas that you want to look for your business to get a better sense of what you should be doing. Just other couple quick notes I want to point out is that the state of Rhode Island is acting as fast as it possibly can, and safety is our utmost important thing for us that we're trying to take care of. We do happen to be the only state in New England that has a detailed phase 1 plan. We're the only state in New England who is looking at having retail stores open. We're the only state in New England who is looking at outdoor dining for our restaurants. So understand that we're moving fast and furious, and we're doing it because of the communication with the business community. Rhode Island's blessed to have a strong, vibrant business community. And there have been so many people who have come to us and said, here's some ideas that we have, here's some plans that we have. And we're listening. We're really listening to what the business owners have to say and working with them to come up with the best thing. So I know it feels slow, and I know that, there's some states far, far away from here that are doing different things. But know that we're working really hard and fast in Rhode Island to do what we can to get these businesses operating while making it safe for everyone at the same time. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I guess any questions that somebody might have, I'd love to answer.
Yeah, we have a couple, and I'm sure that we'll get some, but yeah, I think that, and we've been advocating for the safety, as I always mention, the governor's office, Dr. Scott, and all the people there. So to make it very clear where we stand, but at the same point in time, I wanted to make sure that, we're going to open, we're going to reopen. The virus is going to still be here, and we don't have a vaccine. But when we do reopen, we're looking for smart ways to be as flexible as we can to give our businesses the best opportunity to survive this, this crisis. And so having an open ear to you, Liz, and to Matt and his office and the governor's office, very important. I think what you're going to hear today from some businesses is very well thought out, very understanding. I mean, where we were in January and where we are today in terms of understanding what we're dealing with is a world apart, right? Because people understand now the social distancing, the washing of the hands, and the mask issues, and what's going on. And we don't want to see what happened here up in Boston and other places like yesterday. That's just irresponsible. But my feeling is we can be very flexible, and the more flexible we can be, whether it's with the garden shops, allowing people to go in and buy their plants so people can get rid of their inventory. One of the things that's come up, Liz, that I think that needs to be clarified, and I would think that it's already allowed, but maybe if you could clarify it, is the restaurants that have kegs, if they could, sell that in closed containers with growlers. That's happening in other states. And I think a clarification on that, we have people who have sitting on a great deal of inventory that could go bad, and that it seems as though if we're selling beer on takeout, then it probably makes sense to do the tap beer as well, the draft beer as well. So there's many things that are going on, and we're going to bring them to your attention, and hopefully, like you say, you're listening, and we're going to keep on doing the work we're doing, because I think it's important work to give the small business a voice like we have. Matt, do you want to weigh in with anything, or are you here to share?
I just like to say a couple of things. You make a good point on the kegs, and we've heard that through your communication with your office as well as from the Hospitality Association. So I know I'm working with Director Tanner and the governor's legal office to see if we can offer that clarification and allow it to happen. So that is in progress. I'll also share, I know you're going to have Director Hayward on, but we've been able to partner with some local and national financial institutions, and there's a couple days left. We're hearing for the PPP Loan Program. So I just want to give a plug out. If there are any small businesses out there that are still having trouble getting access to their application getting processed to any bank, please email us at ppp@commerceri.com, and we'll make a direct connection with a lender who will work to process your application today or tomorrow.
Matt, I think that's real important information. Last week when it was announced that they had the second round, the anticipation was that it was going to be gone within a few days. Well, we're a week, and there's still funds available, and that message to the small business is very important. We have a couple of people who are having difficulty either because of their own, inexperience, or because they, quite frankly, don't have a bank to actually work with. So we'll pass that information along. The more money we bring into the state, the better we are, right? And we thank you for bringing that up. I was going to bring that up on part of this call today too. So Matt, stick around because you may hear some things. I appreciate you do that. Liz, a specific question for one of the owners, but it probably applies. So somebody who's bought a trailer for their catering business and happen to be in Massachusetts, and they need to pick it up because they're preparing that, they got to do work on that trailer. Are they allowed to go and pick it up in Massachusetts and come back in Rhode Island and do the work they need to do to prepare it? So when we start doing the outdoor food trucking and that type of thing, that they'll be prepared. That was the question.
Yes. So for food, for work purposes, absolutely. You can cross state borders to do what you need to do for work and come back. If you need to stay over, that's a different story. But if you're going for work purposes, that's permitted.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. Do you have anything else? Otherwise, we'll keep on moving along in this call. We're trying to get it done in an hour, but you're packing all this information in. Liz, thank you so much. It's good to have you back.
Liz and Matt, we did have a lot of questions from salon owners about what phase they would be in and if there's any guidance for regulations that they can follow. Do you guys have anything that you can say about salon owners right now?
So thank you, Ben, for the question. As you saw yesterday, reopeningri.com, the governor laid out phase one, specifically for retail and outside dining and restaurants. There will be more to say about salons and barbershops, and the guidance will come out potentially later this week to see what folks will need to get ready for the start of phase two for that. So a lot of information on retail, reopenri.com. Also a place on there for folks by industry to submit their recommendations and suggestions on how they think they can reopen safely. We have folks divided among each industry sector reading all those comments. They're so useful for us for developing this guidance with our DOH colleagues. So please keep sending it in, and we're working day and night to get it open. Great.
Yeah, I think you'll hear from some of the salon owners today. I had a good call with them yesterday, and I gave them some advice. And I think that we need to find places that I don't care. I don't know how you feel about it, but if you have similar type of businesses that are opening and after similar experiences as we've had and continue to have in terms of the virus, but I really don't care if it's in Japan or Australia or wherever it might be. I think we need to really be looking outside of our borders, because I don't think you can look to Georgia or the states in Florida that only been at it for a week. And we know that there's going to be a time frame that you're going to have to really analyze this information. But if there are examples out there, Matt, I don't know how you feel about it, Liz, but if there are examples that are in similar environments, but they just happen to be in a different country, it would seem as though we would want to really take close looks at that. Australia comes to mind in particular, who never shut down their salons and is on the top of the list of being one of the safest places in the world right now. So hopefully that we're going to really expand our thinking in terms of where we can get good information to be as flexible as we can with the businesses.
Liz will tell you, I used to have longer hair, and I gave myself a DIY haircut. So there's no one that wants barbershops open quicker than me.
Well, I'm going back to my college days, which was a long time ago.
Well, I'll tell you that we have an employee who speaks Italian, and we've been tapping into his Italian skills left and right, trying to see what things are happening over in Italy. So it's been very useful.
Good. And we'll include you in our economic ambassador program that I started in January. And it's an international program where we were able to secure a couple 100,000 masks with Louis Yip and Sonny Ney and others. And we're working on another 50,000 right now in the same network. But their suggestion, because I've been meeting like this with them, was let's tap into our international parties to talk about different industries. And so I think that we've got a series of calls that are going to come in from Hong Kong, whether it's the nail salons or Australia with some of the other factors, so that we can kind of analyze and hear firsthand from specific owners what happened. And then we can do our research. I mean, I don't believe everything I hear the first time, but at the same point in time, I think when things are credible, we need to kind of really spend time at that. So yeah, so keep those networks going. I don't speak Italian, but I'm very happy to hear from Italy. That'd be fine, as long as it's safe, right? All right, stick around for a little bit, please. Thank you. All right, Ben. I don't know whether we've got.
All right, we have the Gift It Forward panel now.
All right, let's go with the Gift It Forward panel. My, the three amigos here. I call them the three amigos. They're out doing this unbelievable work for us, and give us a quick update, because the work that you're doing here continually and thinking about, this reopening strategy and past the reopening strategy. Chris, we'll start with you. I don't see Justin on the line, so we'll start with you and give us the update you've been working on. And we'll go to Laurie.
Justin unfortunately had some work to do. As you know, we're all volunteer small business owners, so
Yes.
he sent over some information about the rismallbusiness.org site. We have over 1,000 signups, over 5,200 clicks for buy now for the gift cards, as well as over 180,000 views to the site. So we're getting a lot of traffic to this rismallbusiness.org site, which we're making the hub for all of our RI small business needs. Quick shout out to Ed Kaczerski and Cox Media. They just also donated some media for the video that we did with Third Spoon to get out the message as well, to drive traffic to this rismallbusiness.org site, where you can purchase gift cards to some of your local favorite businesses, all businesses, restaurants, retail, fitness, salons, everything. And if you're still not signed up, visit the website, submit your application, and Justin and his team will get you on the website as quick as possible.
Well, thanks for mentioning Cox, Chris. And we know that we don't get those hits without some extraordinary partners, whether it's Lamar Sign, right, in terms of the billboards that are on the highway, which are very, very visible, and is promoting the value of small businesses, which was our original concept when we spoke several weeks back, and with you and Laurie and Justin. And then also, in terms of the coverage that that WPRI provided, in terms of over 1 million views, more 1 million type of eyeballs, I think on the RI small business effort that you and Laurie and Justin are really champions. So this is my opportunity. All the people listening out there, this happened because I offered my cell phone number, and people called me in a way that said I can help, and I want to make this small business issue an important one. So my cell phone number is 401-465-6204. Something out there that is important to you, you want to help out, or you have an issue that you really need to have solved, you can call me directly. You can call our office, 222-2371. We're answering the phones, and we're responding to every call we get. Lori, give us the update from your point of view.
Yeah. Hey, so I was glad to get in touch with you through your cell phone, and so we that was really great. And then met Justin and Chris and became a part of this rismallbusiness.org site because my company Visual Thrive had created a site for small businesses where they could sign up because they're doing curbside pickup and delivery or online services. So our clients were trying to find a way to communicate that, and we decided to open up this free website where businesses that are operating safely and with the standards that the state is recommending can go onto the site. And so from being able to be a part of the whole Gift It Forward program, I think that there's a huge platform for small businesses to not only get the information that they need, but also put themselves out there and maintain maybe a good, decent level of revenue coming into the business, and a way to communicate with their customers about what they're up to. So I know on the RI Thrive site, if you're listed on the site and it's free, you have an opportunity to actually post how you're operating. So there's like an information block. So if we're moving into these different phases as a business, you'll be able to inform your customers. So customers that are coming to your business will have an idea of what's happening in the business as they approach the building or the site. I think it will really help the customers feel safe about coming to a business. So if your business has just opened its doors as a retail, this business has just been sanitized and our employees are washing their hands every 30 minutes or whatever standards, you have that opportunity in the RI Thrive site. So together with Oceanside and Trailblaze, we're creating this really cool platform for small businesses so that everyone can help each other come together and maintain based on the good information that we have. So it's a real pleasure to be a part of this group. So thank you.
Well, it's great to have you, Lori. And I'll go 2 thumbs up, a little Cumberland roots. That doesn't hurt. But I want to say that first of all, we need help. There's people out there that are watching this. We've had Liz on and Matt on and others. I think that, just the experience we had this weekend where we corralled the Gift It Forward team to talk to Rebecca, right, from Hometown Polk, who was running into a problem in Providence of all things. They were, shutting down streets where businesses were being impacted without talking to the businesses. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I think we made a little bit of progress. We're going to hear a little bit more of that from Rebecca. But what surprised me about it was that Rebecca and a large group of people on the east side, the Thayer Street side, weren't aware of the Gift It Forward program, and they weren't aware of these calls. So we've got a lot of work to do in terms of making sure we're communicating to a larger group. That's one of the reasons that we've gone to this platform. I would say anybody's listening on the phone, hopefully you're able to hear, but we want to make sure we transition completely to this platform because we got a lot of work to do, not only as we reopen, but also as we're in the recovery strategy. And you're going to hear me say a few things that I think that we need to do. I think the state really needs to get involved with a real strong program, partnering with on a social entrepreneurship basis with all our local banks to do an extraordinary type of a loan strategy, grant strategy that's going to last past the federal funding. And also many, many hundreds of businesses are not going to benefit from the federal funding. So that's why this site is so important, because some of the revenue streams are coming almost exclusively from this site.
Yeah.
And we encourage the people out there that have done business with small business in the state, that goodwill has really been developed because of the great work of the small businesses and the staff. Support them and go to rismallbusiness.org, support them, purchase your items there, purchase them in advance. As Lori says, if people are selling right now, go to them and buy right now. And then stay tuned, because this team that we're working with, I'm not letting them go. This trio is three amigos is not leaving my site, and we're going to really continue to work and make small business a really important, recognize an important factor in the state. And unless we really do some extraordinary things like this and a loan strategy where we get, heck, we can give $100 million to a ball player that didn't know how to run a business. I think we can leverage that amount of dollars to get $1 billion out to small businesses around.
And we also have an opportunity to help, like when you say people are struggling in their business. I mean, that's our job. We can help businesses get better. So, and we're here doing that.
Absolutely. So, Chris, thank you, and Laurie, thank you, and Justin, thank you as well. And please give me a call, and we're going to stay really connected and helping these small businesses. We really do need them, and you're going to hear from some right now. We're going to bring a couple small businesses on, and hopefully Mark will be on the call before we're done and can summarize an update there. But it's time to bring the small businesses on, Ben. Maybe you could bring the first crew on, and I'll introduce them, and that would be helpful. Hi, Mayor.
Hello.
Midtown Polk, how you doing?
Okay, sorry, I'm wearing my mask. I'm at the store right now, so just trying to stay compliant.
I'm glad you're following the rules. I can tell you that family members have gone to your place through the rismallbusiness.org site, through the Thrive site, and they've had a great meal. So
thank you so much.
Our restaurants like that. And then Christine, thank you for being here. We can hear you today, right?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Governor.
That's perfect. So why don't we just do this? We'll start with Christine, a little overview of her business, some of her concerns. I want to go to Becca because we did speak this weekend, and then finally with the mayor, Sadella up there in Newport. So we'll start with Christine first. A couple minutes, overview of your business in the industry, and if you're not speaking right now, just mute your phone so that we don't have the background noise. Go ahead, Christine.
Great. Thank you, Governor. So my name is Christine Raffa, and I own Raffa Yoga and Urban Sweat Spa, and also Raffa Real Food, which is a vegan cafe. And I've gotten together with the other yoga studio owners in the state. There's over 70 small business yoga studios in the state of Rhode Island. And we submitted over last week our plan to reopen. And we're really excited about getting back to the business of health in this health pandemic for the state of Rhode Island. We service thousands of guests and members throughout the state, throughout the yoga studios, and we feel that we have a really good platform to open sooner rather than later, because we can operate without shared equipment or props. Students come in and actually stay in the same spot during the class for the entire duration of class. And we feel that this puts us at a lower risk to get back up and serving the community. You know, after all, this is a health related issue, and yoga studios across the state of Rhode Island are there for the mental, the physical, and the well-being of our students, guests, and members. And we feel that the plan that we've put together is really a fantastic one. And we're looking forward to getting, open. We do have some questions, and we're hoping that we're able to hear from someone from the Department of Business Regulations. We've yet to hear from them yet, just in reference to, the class sizes and whether that goes to if you have multiple studios. So if you have more than one studio within your space, is it 10 people per studio space, or is it 10 people maintaining that 6-foot distance within the 3 or 4 spaces we have? And then, of course, we do have some questions in reference to our outdoor spaces as well.
Yeah, so Christine, thank you for that. And, I had mentioned that our daughter, who actually went to the same school as Becca did up in Boston, teaches a yoga class to our family members twice a week. And I know this through certain research that the yoga actually is a therapy that is being prescribed by many physicians in terms of making sure that we stay comfortable, and then we can deal with a lot of the stress we're going through. I believe that to be very true. And so we want to figure out again how to get you safely open, but provide as much flexibility. That's the word I'm using right now. Flexibility through really research and finding ways that we can be more and more flexible in this space. I think that's the message I'm delivering today. So Christine, thank you for being here. Your question, I'm going to get back to both the DLT and DBR, within the last 5 minutes, and they're listening. So I'm sure they'll address that issue. If not, we'll connect you directly in. All right.
Well, we certainly appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to getting back to business so that everyone across the state of Rhode Island can benefit with the health and mental health and well-being opportunities through the practice of yoga, meditation, and mindfulness that all 70 yoga studios within Rhode Island offer. So thank you for the opportunity, Governor.
Yeah, well, I agree on the yoga. I also agree on a larger basis that all our small businesses are part of the fabric of our communities. As a small business person myself, and then being a mayor for 12 years, I know how important our small businesses are, not only to the staff and the employees and the customers, but that's what makes up the character of our communities. And I think that we are going to be more and more appreciated, especially as we try to get a rebound on the economy. Our economy is only going to rebound as quickly as we can get these small businesses back active. So thanks for being here, Christine.
Absolutely. Thank you, Governor. Appreciate the opportunity.
Becca, give me a little overview of what you're doing in your business, but also in particular, how we kind of got connected through Joe Thibodeau and some other people relative to the decision that the mayor made to shut down some streets and really didn't even really talk to the business community. But you have a very good overview of what's happening in your business in terms of your delivery and what overhead you have got because of that. So give us a quick overview of your experience up to this date and really how we actually got to communicate with one another.
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank you for, convening all of these small businesses together. I think small businesses have been frustrated kind of by the lack of communication from the city and from the state, and you really have stepped up here and are giving a voice to a lot of small businesses. So we really, really appreciate it. Personally, when all of the street closures started happening, I actually didn't find out about it until I read about it in the Providence Journal article. And it was a shock, just because this has been such a hard time for the last 2 months for so many small businesses. This just felt like another hit. But you were so responsive. You immediately called me. And then the very next day, you got somebody from the mayor's office on the phone to try to rectify this. And I appreciate it so much. The following day, the barriers were taken down. And so we really appreciate it, not only for my business, but also for the neighborhood association next door. They're trying to feed over 200 families in Providence right now who are in need. And there's a food pantry across the street, and they rely on volunteers who are driving up to collect groceries and make all of these necessary deliveries to a lot of families, a lot of elderly who aren't able to get out. And so, this particular community here is historic, and it's very diverse. It's an often overlooked community. We are newcomers. I'm very sensitive to the politics and to the history of this neighborhood. And so when the street closures happened, nobody from this neighborhood was actually consulted about it. And I think that there was just a lack of understanding about this particular street, so Camp Street. This is the main thoroughfare for all of the car traffic reaching their homes within this Mount Hope neighborhood. It just didn't make sense for it to be here. We are a business that's affected, and obviously the neighborhood association, the WIC office next door, and the food pantry across the street. People need access to those services. Right now, we are 100% takeout and delivery. Our dining room has been closed for over 2 months at this point. And particularly for the delivery drivers, we're 70% delivery through Grubhub, Postmates, and DoorDash. They take such a high commission, and we don't really have a good channel of communication with them. So when the street was closed, we couldn't communicate with with those sort of drivers that we were going to have the street closed off, but they could still access us. So it caused a lot of confusion. People were canceling orders. It just added more chaos to an already really chaotic time. I know that a lot of small businesses, and I can speak a little bit more to food industry in particular, are struggling right now. There's very, very high overhead and low margin here. And so we're trying to be creative and pivot to try to make ends meet and, keep the doors open, keep our staff employed. We're trying to figure out how to use the PPP loans appropriately within the timeline that we're given. I think with the reopening, especially, we're trying to figure out how the reopening aligns with this PPP loan and whether we'll be able to even use those funds in time. There isn't a ton of clear guidance on the PPP payback and also just how these phases will work. I know, at the very end of phase 1, outdoor seating is supposed to be allowed, but we don't know exactly when that'll happen or how we'll be able to do that safely and effectively. And it won't be really until phase 3 that we can even start looking at, reopening in any sort of meaningful way. So there's a lot to navigate right now.
There is a lot, Becky, and I think that there's a couple points, and thank you for being on today and speaking up about it. Look, the idea of closing down the streets was probably well intended, but it certainly wasn't, well thought out. And I think that seeing a reversal, I'm still concerned that there's only a handful of streets that have received the courtesy that you received. But I'm curious to find out whether other businesses and other nonprofits are still being impacted negatively. We do know that the Hispanic community in our state is the most highly infected community in the state, and it's a statewide issue as far as I'm concerned. And yet, inviting people when the still had the stay-at-home order, inviting people to come out and use the streets in mass is not really an appropriate idea. And I know the Hispanic community has reacted that way. They want to be safe. They want to reverse the infection rate in their communities, and this only could potentially contribute to it. So hopefully, your message is going to be delivered, and it's going to be delivered to many people on behalf of the small businesses, that whenever we're thinking about doing something, we should be really considering this reopening of the economy and the impact that you've had on you. And I've said this, and I'm going to cut this a little bit. I'm going to let Rich talk for a few minutes, and then we get the other set of businesses. But a very important point that I made before: the state and the local communities need to really,
Governor, you're breaking up a little bit.
Activate strategies. I am okay. How about that? Is that better?
That's a lot better. I don't know what just happened to change.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to lean in a little bit better. And I have a microphone that I forgot to hook up, but I'll get better next time. But my quick point to everybody here and anybody listening, is that Becca just described a huge overhead that she has on delivery of food. The money that's come federally through the government, the care package, has a line in there. Senator DePalma will repeat over and over again. I know he's listening in, that there's a line in there that funds in those on that $1.2 billion funds can be earmarked towards helping small businesses. So we need to know, when you have extra cost or you're struggling, we should figure out a way to get resources there to lower your cost of delivery so that you can actually pay your electric bill and your rent. So Richard, we can go to you now. Becca, thank you so much. And yeah, just give us a quick overview. I know. Yeah, you're very welcome, Becca. Give us a quick overview there, and then I want to get to the hair salon for about 10 minutes, and then give everybody a chance that was on the original channel to answer. So can you hear me, Richard?
I can hear, but it's very, you're breaking up on me an awful lot.
Okay, yeah, you're breaking up on us too at the moment. So I don't know, Ben, is it me or is it Richard?
I believe now that it's Richard's. There's a crackling on Richard's end, so I'm gonna handle that. Just talk to each other. Just talk to each other.
Okay, Richard.
Yep. Oh, okay. I'm going to move to another computer. Hold on one moment.
All right. So
Ben, here, right?
yeah, we're still here. We're just waiting for Richard to move to another computer real quick.
Okay. I've got to lean in here a little bit, I think, so you can hear me. But
no, I think you're fine,
that
actually.
was great. I'm fine. Okay.
All right.
Richard, any help? All right, Richard, we're gonna get to the next panel and try to bring you on at the end of the show if we can, because I want to keep within this hour time frame, and we're having trouble listening to you. So, Ben, would you bring on the three people that are in the studio, because I want to give them a couple minutes each so that we can get back to the back to DBR and DLT. All right, Gina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And Nancy, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Good. And Lynn, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. So we had a call yesterday with a good many of the salons and salon related businesses. And let me start with Gina and then go to Nancy and then Lynn. Give it just a quick overview of your business and then some of your questions and concerns that we talked about on the phone. And in particular, Gina, cover you've got some national type companies that you talked about that are really looking to help our local industries out, and that falls right in line what I think in terms of this social entrepreneurship that our large companies and including our banks in the state of Rhode Island need to be asked to step up in a way that we haven't asked them yet. So go ahead, Gina.
Hi, my name is Gina Silvestro, and I'm the owner of Gel Essential Salon in Cranston. I've been in the beauty industry for over 30 years, and I specialize actually in the nail industry. So as everyone stated, some of the concerns from earlier that we have, basically, we've submitted some protocols that we'd like to have implemented. But I think one of the biggest concerns that we have is when we will be reopening as an industry, which you've already talked about that. So after we spoke yesterday, I did create an online survey that I've shared with some of my friends globally who are in the industry. I reached out to a bunch of people throughout in the world, and I sent this online survey. So I'm going to share it with you, Governor. All of their responses can be put into an Excel sheet. You can see what their protocols are, where they are, where they're open. But unfortunately, out of everybody I spoke to, everybody is on lockdown. The only people I spoke to who aren't on lockdown were in Sweden. They never got locked down, but they said that their businesses are greatly affected by it because people are just afraid to even come in. My friends in Australia, they're going back this week. A lot of people are preparing to reopen. So I do have that survey that they're going to send in the information that I can share with you. One of the things that we have that we're really concerned about is what about once we're reopened? What if somebody tests positive? Will we have to shut the whole salon down and quarantine for 2 weeks? If we are shut down and we have to quarantine, would our employees be able to reapply for benefits once they reopen?
Well, thanks, Gina, and thank you for doing that research. I think that research is going to be very valuable to us, and the more information we can get from wherever, good, solid information, it's going to help us a great deal. And I appreciate you getting right on that. Very important issue for us to, again, my word right now is flexible. We got to be safe. We're going to reopen, and the virus is still going to be in our communities, but we need to create as much flexibility as we possibly can find for our businesses, and that's the reason for these calls. And this is all being taped, so this is going to be available for anybody to see, and you'll be able to, send this out to your networks as well as Nancy's and Lynn's, and as well as the other businesses that are on there. And certainly encouraging the Liz Tanner and others that are doing the work right now to spread the word and start really developing the idea of flexibility here. Nancy, please give us a quick overview of your business, and you got a couple minutes, and then Lynn, and then I want to get back to Liz and to DLT to wrap it up. Thank you, Nancy, for being here.
thank you for having me. So my role is with a division of L'Oreal. So I've worked for L'Oreal for many, many years. And I am currently a business consultant for their distribution channel, which is called Salon Centric. So I've had the privilege for many years of going into and working with many different types of salons and spas and nail salons all throughout New England. And I think my biggest concern being a coach and a consultant for the company and communicating with on our end, trying to keep L'Oreal and up to date with what's happening is truly the lack of communication. I think the biggest concern is, and like Gina, I have actually shared information of very strict sanitation procedures that groups of people, teams of very intelligent people have put together through experience, and there's just no communication. So we're trying to scurry to get the supplies that people need, our clients need, which are the salons and spas and nail salons, all in Rhode Island and actually all of New England and all of the country. And we don't even know anything. So I read daily what the update is with our state, and there's still nothing. And people need to know information. Like, we need to know, okay, what is on the table right now that we know is going to be a standard procedure of safety? Well, tell us so that we can start to do it. Because even as a distributor, our warehouses have limited amount of people being able to ship the items to our stores, to our accounts. It takes weeks to get things. So if all of a sudden somebody tells us, well, next week we're going to open and here's your policies and procedures, no one's going to be ready. We have to buy the products and be able to provide them to our clients so that they can reopen. And daily I have virtual meetings with people, and I believe that safety is the number one thing. It's the first thing that comes out of my mouth, that people need to feel safe and be safe when they go back to work and they go to salons. But there is this unknown. I have business owners that are crying to me. The loans, they don't pertain to everybody. You know, commission-based salons have actually had to lay off their people. Well, you know, they get these loans and all of a sudden you have to put people on payroll the second you sign the paperwork. It's not working. We have no information to actually give us a time frame that will allow us to prepare. So basically everyone's guessing what these policies and procedures are going to be. And we need some more information.
Nancy, and so Mark Haywood was not able to get on the call. He communicated. He'll be on the call on Friday, and there's people who are like you said. They don't understand the PPP loan, which you just said. So we got to really communicate that a lot more. The other piece and I'm going to get to Lynn and then get back to Liz for a couple minutes and to Matt. But the other piece is that it's going to cost these businesses, including the salons, money to make sure they open up safely. And I'm going to repeat again. These businesses did not voluntarily close. Now, they were closed for the right reasons, but we still have a responsibility on a statewide basis and locally to help incur some of these costs that are directly related to the fact that they were asked to close or they were closed, in a way. So there's many businesses that we know that on average, small businesses have about 27 days of cash. That's what they got. So some of them have more, some have less, but on average, that's what they got. When they reopen and it requires masks and other type of factors, sanitizers, screens, whatever it is, that's going to cost them money. And so they need to know in advance, like you said, first of all, they don't want to be spending money on things that are not going to be acceptable. And then the other piece that I'm making the point on, they should be given help financially to do those openings, to open up safe. Their businesses were shut down. I'm talking about the businesses that were shut down or really impacted significantly. I'm not talking about the businesses that were able to continue to try to do business normally. But anyways, Nancy and Gina, thank you. Lynn, just a couple minutes on and then I do want to get back to Liz and to Matt to kind of round it up. And then Mark Haywood was listening in, and he'll definitely have some responses for you directly or potentially on Friday with us. Go ahead, Lynn.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Lynn Dapont, and I am the owner of Titian Salon, and we're a full-service salon. So it's a small salon, but The other challenge that I have as a hairdresser is it going to be subdivided? I have a nail technician, I have an esthetician. What's going to happen to them if the salon can open as hair? Is nails and esthetician going to be able to open within the phase 1, phase 2? Again, to Gina and Nancy's clarity, there's no information for us. It's a guessing game. You know, I've done all of my prep. I've gone in, I've taken care of everything. I've made sure that the salon is clean, sanitized, disposed of things that needed to be disposed, but we need information so that we can open and at a timely manner. We've got clients, I'm sure, Gina and Nancy, you have clients texting you left and right saying, when are you opening? Oh my God, I need something done. We just need the clarity to make sure that we can do business as usual, or what we're saying is the new normal, and make sure that we can please our clients so that we can, make some money. And let's get going on all of this.
And Lynn, and I'll open this up because I want to, like I said, I'd like to keep within the hour. We started a few minutes after 1, so I got like 2 more minutes or so, and I want to get back to Liz and Matt. But the idea of pilots, opening up, is that a level playing field? I mean, what do you think? Anybody want to weigh in on pilots? Given, picking winners and losers here, letting somebody open up a business before others can open up businesses?
I think you could open up a can of worms by doing a pilot, because there's going to be some jealousy issues, unfortunately, or envious issues. So that's going to be a huge problem. I mean, again, I'm a small salon. So in theory, I would love to be a pilot salon because I have 2 hairdressers and we have 6 feet apart. We can sustain what is been asked. But that's unfair for a salon that has 5, 6, and 7 people to be open before them. Let's open it up together. We're a team. There's no competition in this. It's a team effort.
Gina, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I just have a suggestion. How about if there were a committee with people from each different segment of the industry, both large and small, that can all weigh in as professionals with experience in the industry to, different protocols and how we feel this will benefit reopening and how we can do it successfully.
Yeah, thanks, Gina. All right, I want to thank all 3 of you. We'll continue to be in conversation. I've got a Zoom call with another industry tomorrow. And again, we want to be safe. We're going to open. The virus is still going to be there. We want to create as much flexibility as we can. Your voices are very important that you talk today. Let's continue the conversation and make sure that we hook into the decision makers, which is going to be the governor's office, right? The governor is going to make these decisions. So, and she's bombarded with a lot of the stuff. So we got to kind of still deliver the message to her in a professional way, which you have today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you
Matt,
very much.
Thank you. Matt, could I just bring Liz back and Matt just to see whether they have any final comments if they're still with us?
So Liz is off, but Matt Weldon is still here.
That's great, Matt. I don't know if there's anything that occurred to you in that, but I just wanted to give you a chance to just say final words. And thanks for hanging in there, listening to what's going on.
Of course. Just want to reiterate that new portal we put online should be very helpful to folks, to the people on this call today, or to their friends and family that are going through the challenges that they're going through. Allowing us to identify what the issues are and knowing that up front will let us get a response back to you in a much more timely manner. We thank you again for all your patience. If there are concerns about fraud, please send that email in to dlt.investigations@dlt.ri.gov. Otherwise, I'll be back on Friday and happy to take your questions then.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Not sure whether Liz had to leave the call or not.
Liz is gone. We do have Richard. I think we have the mayor, I believe.
Yeah. How you doing, Mayor?
Yeah. Hey, Governor, how are you? Real quick, I'll give you a quick update on where we stand.
Great.
Thank you, first of all, for what you're doing. I know those of us in the business community appreciate your efforts and all the efforts of the directors and assistant directors that have been on these calls. A little bit encouraged yesterday about the governor's phase 1, but I think they're missing the boat a little bit because they're talking about opening up outdoor restaurant seating, or for service, personal service. What we're talking about, and we feel, when I say we, I'm talking for a lot of people in the restaurant community, that step one should be allowing people to pick up their to-go and sit at a table that is socially distanced and no table service. Again, I would reiterate, who the heck wants to go sit at a table with a masked bandit waiting on you with gloves and a, disposable tableware. I was on a conference call this morning with our city manager and another restaurateur in Newport. Our city manager, and I would encourage other restaurant owners throughout the state, work with your local government. Our city manager wants to work with us as closely as possible and as quickly as possible. So we're in the process of submitting our plan, our layout of where our tables are going to be outside, and we'll get that to him. And as soon as we're able, he's going to give the go ahead and go ahead and do it. I had a phone call. I think it was Matt, not Matt from DLT, but Matt from Commerce that called me last night on behalf of Governor Raimondo, and I outlined my plan to him, and he was very receptive, especially with the to-go cocktails. As we get into the nicer weather, people are going to want to come and sit outside, pick up their meals, go to a table, sit with their family, eat their meal, leave. An employee from the restaurant will go disinfect the table, disinfect the seating area, and then other patrons could go and join, take up that area. So I know you're on a schedule today. Hopefully Friday we get a little more time, but that's where I stand right now. And again, work with your local governments. I know our city manager said we could put tables in the parking lot if we want, as long as we meet those social distancing guidelines.
Yeah, I think that's really important what you just said. I know that the community, Cumberland and Johnston, have both passed local approvals to a strategy like that recently, and Town Council member Joe Policina Jr. will be on our call on our broadcast on Friday, talking about what they've done in Johnston. So keep us posted what's happening in Newport. And again, I'll just repeat, we're going to open up, we're going to reopen. The virus is still going to be with us. And we need to create as much flexibility as we possibly can with good common sense strategies as you're proposing. And I'm hearing, I heard from Commerce today that, they're going to, take a look at the, distribution of the keg beer as well, and help the restaurant owners who are sitting on that inventory. So smart and timely too, Mayor, right? We want it, we don't want to be talking about this forever. If it makes sense, let's do it. Maybe the table service is the first step that can be done. Not table service, but pick up. That's the first step. Table service could follow. We don't want to wait months for the table service to be. Let's get the in motion things that can work today. That'd be the message that I would be delivering.
Yes, Governor. And our first and foremost concern, as everyone else in the state, is the healthy and safe being of our employees and our customers. And we do it all together. We get back sooner than later. And I say, let's treat it like taking your family on a picnic. Pick up your lunch, sit at a table, look at the boats go by, or look at the traffic go by when you're not on the water. And as long as we do it and keep everyone's health and well-being as our primary concern.
I agree. And thank you for being here. And I apologize for going over a couple of minutes. You can see there's a lot to be talked about. We want to continue to, to work with our small business community. The reason that we've gone to this platform is so that we can spread out to a larger audience, so that not only the small business community but the people who live in our state, they get to weigh in, for their communities, for their, the small businesses that they are supporting. Go to rismallbusiness.org. Let's support our small businesses. I'll be on Wednesday night at 7:00 on this broadcast, and we'll be live as well. And we'll be talking on some other issues that are related to the COVID-19 virus. Thank you so much for being with us today, and stay healthy. And that's our number one job. But we need flexibility with our small businesses, and the more that we talk about it, the more that we communicate, the more opportunities we're going to have to reopen our economy in a safe way. So thank you. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, and again on Friday at noontime. Thank you.